Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to see you again. I have a list of household projects I want to get to today. Among them are the 2 garden urns that you saw in a previous episode. Several of you said that I should paint them and place them on the front porch. So we are going to do that today. And for a late lunch or an early dinner, I want to harvest some chives from the garden and turn them into a deliriously delicious pesto pasta. I already have all of my painting supplies on hand, so let's head outside and get started on the urns. I bought these urns at auction many years ago and used them to flank the entrance to my serpentine garden. The urns are very old. They are also very rusty and extremely heavy. These urns are, very heavy. There we go. No pain, no gain. So I'm just using a wire brush here to clean some of the debris off of the urn. This way. The paint person at my local hardware store told me that I should use this Rust-Oleum Protective Enamel paint for the rusty cast iron urn. And the color is charcoal gray. It's a gloss paint. In fact, I think it's the same color I used to paint the urn over here. I don't know if you can see it or not. So far, I like the color. It's very windy today, and the trees are in bloom, or they're just finishing their bloom. So there's a lot of what I call flotsam in the air. And I hope none of it sticks to this fresh paint. This paint is bringing new life to these old urns. It's a very thick paint that is easy to apply. I think the charcoal gray color will show well against the green and white porch. Fortunately, I don't have to paint the whole interior of this urn because there will be a plant in it. Or 1 urn down. Now, how am I going to move this so I can lift the other urn onto the table? This is a mystery to me. I think I need to let this dry. I'm going to try to lift this urn and place it on a piece of cardboard. 1, 2, 3. Mission accomplished. The paint was dry to the touch after just 10 minutes. I'm so glad the hardware store recommended it to me. Two urns down. I'm going to pop this urn onto a piece of cardboard over here. While the paint is drying, we can pot up some of the herbs that you and I bought together. When I took my gloves off, I managed to get charcoal gray enamel paint on my fingers, just on one hand. Does anyone know how to remove this paint? I should Google it. Done. You remove it with olive oil or some other oil. That oil trick actually worked. Look at my hand. I put avocado oil on my hand, let it sit for about 1 minute, and then I rubbed it off, and the paint came right off. I'm really glad I didn't have to resort to turpentine. So now we can pot up the sage and the rosemary that you and I bought together. I have my pots right here. This potting mix is very dry, so I do want to moisten it. It is very windy here today, but at least no rain. We had so much rain over the weekend, I couldn't believe it. The ground is really saturated. Of course, I have to cover the drainage hole here. I have some landscaping fabric. I often use old window screen to cover the drainage hole, but I'm out of window screening right now. And I think the rosemary can go in this terracotta pot. This plant is very root bound, so I'm going to loosen the roots to make them happy. A paint stick is very useful to push the soil down between the plant's roots and the sides of the pot. Since I have grow lights now, I think I can manage to keep this rosemary alive even through winter. Of course, it will live outdoors during the warm weather. And you are all potted up, my friend. And this is sage, and the variety name is Beargarten. Not Biergarten, but Beargarten. Once again, cover the drainage hole. You can see the roots growing through the drainage holes in this plastic pot. So this plant is definitely root bound and very dry. Once a plant is root bound, it can not take up water, so you really want to tease the roots to loosen them or snip them as I just did. Paint stick, more potting mix. I want to clean off these leaves. You know you have given a plant a sufficient amount of water if the excess drips through the drainage hole, as this is. And I think the rosemary and the sage will be very content in their new quarters. Let me clean up here, and then I think the urns have dried enough. We can move them to the front porch. These urns are really heavy. Now, I had intended them to go up here on these white boxes, but first I want to buy some tile that I can put under each urn so the urn is not actually coming in contact with the wood, which means a trip to the big box store. And while we are there, we can also stop at PetSmart. Come inside and I'll show you why. So Goldie managed to break his fishing pole toy. We gave him this toy at Christmas. He really loves it. He loves it so much that he carries it from room to room. So when we go to the big box store to buy tile, we can try to buy another fishing pole. When we arrived at the big box store, I got sidetracked by the garden furniture. I like these faux wicker chairs and think they would show well on my 200-year-old porch. But at $500 for the pair, I will not be purchasing them anytime soon. Far less expensive is this ceramic tile. I bought 2 matching tiles for a total of $4 and some change. Then it's on to PetSmart. I found the fishing pole that my cats Goldie and Binky enjoy, plus several fun attachments that go on the pole. Of course, I also had to buy something for my dog Avery, which I can show you when we return home. Our last stop today is the berry farm. Here, I found 2 gorgeous Boston ferns and some San Marzano tomato starts. We can put the ferns in the urns and plant the San Marzanos in the kitchen garden. We are home again. I have my beloved San Marzanos here from the berry farm. And I found tile at the big box store. And I found the toy for Goldie and also for Binky. Binky likes to play with this as well. And I have attachments for that toy. And I have something for Madame Avery. So I'm going to let my furry friends have their treats, and then we will go outside and deal with those urns. So here's the broken toy, the broken fishing pole. Goldie's over here watching. He knows something good is about to happen. Now the nice thing about this fishing pole is that, well, one, it has an extendable handle, and then it has this little piece over here, and you can buy all kinds of attachments for it. Let's see, he might like to play with this little colorful bird type thing. So we just screw this part into this part. How do you tighten this? So this is for Goldie and Binky, and then I have this Kong toy for Avery. And I'm going to fill it with this Kong Easy Treat. What flavor is it? Pepperoni flavor. You want your toy? You want your toy? This is always fun. Now let's go outside to put the ferns in the urns. So I'm going to put one of these tiles here. I think I want it there. And another one over here. Actually, do I want it on the top box? What do you think? Well, I think these ferns look rather nice here. You can tell me what you think in the description below. The porch is mostly shaded during summer, so I can't really have petunias or anything that requires a lot of sun. But I like the look. I think it's rather cooling. Speaking of cooling, it has gotten very hot out here, and I'm wearing a black hoodie. So I'm going to go inside, have a shower, change my clothes, and then we can get cracking on dinner. Good morning, friends. It's actually the next day. I had forgotten that I had a dinner engagement at a local restaurant last night. So needless to say, we did not make the pesto pasta. And that's all right. We will make it for lunch today. But before we do that, we can go up to the kitchen garden to plant the San Marzanos. Let's head outside. San Marzano is an indeterminate tomato. I planted it last year and was amazed at how prolific it was. To make the plants happy, I'm amending their beds with fresh compost. I think the San Marzanos will be very happy to grow in this fresh compost. So I'm going to reserve the ends of these two beds for zinnias, and then the center, where this cattle panel trellis is, will be used as a trellis for the San Marzanos. My friends, don't ever buy one of these flexible hoses. They kink very quickly. They're not great. So even though I have an irrigation system here, I always like to drench the new plants by hand. That way I can truly water them in. It feels great to have all of these tomatoes planted, and since we're up here in the kitchen garden, we might as well clip some of the lovage over here that we can enjoy in a salad alongside our pasta pesto. I mean pesto pasta. It is getting very warm again. Now, lovage, if you've never had it, has a very strong celery taste. I love it. And then we can grab some other lettuce greens from the herb garden. So I need chives for the pesto pasta. And I like to cut them right down to the ground. I have romaine lettuce over here. We can also grab some of this butterleaf lettuce. These leaves are terrific for lettuce wraps. We have our lovage, our chives, our lettuce greens. Let's head back to the kitchen. So the first thing I want to do is wash my lettuce greens. Look at this butterleaf lettuce leaf. Super flexible. That's why it's great for wraps. If you are avoiding bread, you could always wrap a hamburger or whatnot in a butter leaf, in a butter lettuce leaf. Then I have my lovage. I've already added some lovage to this. If you don't have lovage in your garden, you might want to consider obtaining it because it is the first green to appear when the snow melts at the end of winter. So you can have a fresh lovage salad very early in the season. We are all rinsed here. We can dry. There, nice and dry. Now I still have some of the homemade salad dressing that you and I made together in a previous episode. So that's what I'm going to use to dress the leaves. I have a big pot of water coming to a boil behind me. So now we can roughly chop the chives. I'm going to throw some of these chives into my little salad. I think a few herbs in a salad are always nice. My cutting board keeps making this rocking sound, and I don't think that's terribly attractive on a video. So I put a towel under it. Now I want to smash the garlic clove. What we're doing is making chive pesto for our pesto pasta. I also need either sliced almonds or pine nuts. You could use walnuts if you enjoy walnuts. You can throw the chives into the food processor. Now I will put a link to my recipe for chive pesto in the description below, but you don't have to rely on any exact proportions of ingredients. You can use as much or as little of each of the few ingredients as you like. Add the garlic. You can use more than one garlic clove if you prefer. Some pine nuts. These are the pine nuts that you and I bought together at Tierra Farm a while back, and I've stored them in the freezer. And I will add olive oil once I've somewhat pulverized the chives and pine nuts. Actually, I'm almost out of olive oil, so today I'm going to use avocado oil. It's a very neutral oil, it's healthy, and it does not taste at all like avocados. I do want to add a little salt to this. Not too much. We can give this a taste. Chive pesto is one of the best things on earth, my friends. Now, if you wanted to enjoy chive pesto all on its own, like with crackers or spread on a toasted baguette, then you would want to add some Parmesan cheese. I'm going to add my Parmesan after I've mixed the pesto with the pasta. My water has come to a boil. I'm going to salt it rather heavily, and then we can cook this linguine, which happens to come from Italy, until it reaches the al dente stage. That will take about 9 minutes. While the pasta is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and create a very simple little dessert. The apple slices that we can enjoy with some extra sharp cheddar cheese. There will be cheese on the pasta, I know, but can I possibly have too much cheese? I don't think so. Now, to stop the apples from oxidizing and turning brown, I'm going to give them a little soak in some of this wonderful, pure lemon juice. It's from a company called Santa Cruz. It's organic, and it doesn't have that weird aftertaste that another brand of store-bought lemon juice happens to have. This stuff is really good. So here are the apple slices. I'm just going to add some of this extra sharp cheddar cheese. This is left over from the charcuterie for dinner episode that we filmed, I think it was last week. Very convenient to have already sliced extra sharp cheddar cheese on hand. And we can lightly dress our garden fresh greens. Toss. And here is the al dente linguine. We can toss with the chive pesto and some Parmesan cheese. We can try to twirl this linguine onto the plates. Twirling pasta is not really my forte, but I always give it the old college try. There we go. Not too shabby. I need to top the pasta with a little grated Parmesan. So we have our pesto pasta, we have a lovely little garden fresh salad, and we have apples and cheddar cheese for dessert. And before Lizette joins me, I do want to have a little taste of this pasta for you. Always supposed to use a spoon when you were twirling pasta onto a fork. It's not perfect, but it helps. Mm. 2 thumbs up, 5 stars, no, 10 stars. This is fantastic. Chives do not have an overpowering oniony taste. They have their own unique, mild onion taste. I just love them. My friends, thank you so much for being here as we brought new life to some old cast iron urns, and we brought a hint of glamour to the front porch, and we brought joy to our pets, and we made this incredible little lunch, which includes ingredients from the spring garden. Now tomorrow, I'm going to make a full springtime afternoon tea, which will include finger sandwiches and rhubarb scones or scones. And I hope you will subscribe so you won't miss that episode. And until then, please treat yourself very, very well, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.